Will the Bengals get back on track, take down the Ravens, and even their record at 1-1? Our keys to victory and much, much more ahead of Sunday's home opener. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapine of allbengals.com. Thank you so much for subscribing and ringing the bell so you get the latest and greatest Bengals news right here on YouTube. Of course, we're going to be there on Sunday, and whew, is it going to be a huge, huge matchup at Paycor Stadium? I know tickets are really, really hard to come by. The fan base is excited, and hopefully I see some of you tonight. As we record this, it is Friday morning, and you'll see this video Friday afternoon. But Enter the Jungle, it is out. You can get it at CincinnatiBengalsBook.com, internationally on Amazon, wherever books are sold, whatever's easiest for you. Obviously, you can get it, or you can meet us tonight, Holy Grail Banks, 7 o'clock, and I will have plenty of copies that we can chat about, talk about the Bengals, toast a cold one or two, and you can leave with a book or 10 if you want to. So Enter the Jungle, CincinnatiBengalsBook.com. All right, that said, let's get to this. Our keys to victory for Sunday's matchup. First one, it's pretty simple. Is Joe Burrow capable of being Joe Burrow? Last week, I think it was the perfect storm. And I'm not talking about the George Clooney movie that half of you probably never watched or have heard of. It was the perfect storm of rain, calf injury, defense they're playing against, opponent, strength versus your strength matching up perfectly to where it made you play bad. All of the above. All of the above. And so is Joe Burrow is banged up or beat up calf-wise as it looked last week where he couldn't really fully go through his normal mechanics? I don't think so. I've never seen Joe Burrow struggle throwing in the rain, and he's thrown in the rain plenty. I think it was all part of it. It was the game plan of really utilizing the quick passing game. It was this defense from the Browns and all of these things that made it tough. So key number one is Joe Burrow getting back on track. Now, that's much, much easier said than done against a defense in the Ravens that had Burrow's number last year, that held the Bengals to 20 or less in every game, that made it really tough, even when Lamar Jackson was out. That playoff game, we know how rough it was. It was ugly and it was tough. And I think if you're Mike McDonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator, that is your goal with Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen in the middle of your defense. Here's the problem. And here's why I think Joe Burrow does bounce back. The Bengals, they put pressure on defenses and really, really make you work. And I get it last week, you're not going to see that. But when you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, that is a lot to cover. And not many teams can do it. And the Browns did it last week. Are we sure without Marlon Humphrey, without their top safety in Williams, that they're going to be able to contain this Bengals offense? They may get some pressure here and there. They may be able to disguise things to confuse Burrow some like they did last season. But at some point, he's going to figure that part out. And to me, it's not like there's Myles Garrett on the other side. They do have some good pass rushers, but it isn't like that. Roquan Smith is elite. I get it. They have the young kid. I always forget his name, the safety they took 12th overall or whatever it was. Like, I get all that. The only safety I think about in the 2022 class is Dax Hill, whether it's fair or not. So shout out to my guy Dax. The point is, and Tyson, of course. Point is I'm not as worried about the Ravens personnel. I think scheme wise, they can certainly figure it out. McDonald has Burrow's number to a degree. I think that pass rush is pretty good, but I do expect Joe Burrow to bounce back. That is key number one. Key number two, all right, offensive line. You're not going against Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith, and we could go on and on about different guys that they have. Dalvin Tomlinson, obviously, last week was a factor. This secondary isn't going to be what it is, so can you hold up? Can you open up running lanes for Joe Mixon? Can you open up running lanes for Chase Brown if he's active? I was dead wrong about it last week. I thought he would be active. I have a feeling he's going to be active again this week or for the first time this week and could get carries. That's the other element of this. And part of the running game, will they go under center? Joe Burrow did not go under center last week. That to me is a calf thing. and could have been partially calf, partially weather. They didn't want him doing that with the calf. Obviously, it comes back to the calf because if he was healthy, they would be fine with him going under center. So we will see there. But regardless, this offensive line, can you get them downhill? Can you get them moving in the run game? And can they hold up against the pass rush that is solid? I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Ravens defense, even with their injuries, but it isn't with the Browns front. It's not that Cleveland front that they saw last week. And that's all I'm trying to point out. So there's the two real keys on offense. Of course, I could say Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, you have to win your one-on-ones. Tyler Boyd has to be a factor. Irv Smith Jr., it was an up and down debut for Irv. Can you get the most out of him? All of those things go into it. Let's get to the defense, though, because this Ravens team, Lamar Jackson, I mean, it's really tough because Lamar is a tough cover, but they're getting Mark Andrews back. So it's Lamar, Mark Andrews, and then you add these wide receivers. And I know Odell Beckham Jr., a lot of people give him grief because he's one of the biggest stars in the league, and the game might not match up with that anymore week to week, but he's still capable of making big plays. And speaking of big plays, Zay Flowers is legit. And what I think is interesting about this offense, along with Rashad Bateman, this Ravens offense led by Todd Monken looks like a normal offense. It's not this Ravens running style offense. So a couple of things. One of the reasons why the Bengals struggled against the Ravens last year, they didn't get many possessions. Burrow talked about it. Zach Taylor talked about it this week. Is that going to be the case with Todd Monken now that he's running more of an 11 personnel, one tight end, one running back, three receivers, that type of offense? If not, then it changes things some. But regardless, this defense has to find a way to get off the field, not just buck up in the red zone like they've done so many times. Obviously, the 100-yard dash, the fumble in the jungle, whatever you want to call it, that's one that is going to be remembered forever. But you don't want it to get to that point. And so containing Lamar Jackson is obviously a huge key, but getting off the field for this defense, that is key number one for this defense. And my third key overall, getting off the field. And then the fourth one, it's pretty simple here. Don't give up huge plays. Lamar is capable of it. Ravens fans tweet out that spin move anytime they can, and I get it. It was such an amazing play. Zay Flowers is so shifty with the ball in his hands. We saw it last week. I'm sure they're going to try to do more of that. Odell Beckham Jr. is going to do that as well, and they're going to try to get the ball in his hands. He's not as shifty, of course, but he is a big play threat, had the 29-yard catch last week, so he's still capable of it. I do think it's interesting what the Bengals did on defense last week. They used Mike Hilton at safety a little bit. They were able to move Dax Hill all around, and I think Dax Hill will see plenty of Mark Andrews. We'll see there. I think that you're going to see a healthy dose of DJ Turner. He could be lined up on Flowers at times. Obviously, Hilton will be as well in the slot. And Chidobe Awuzie on a snap count looked good last week. Let's see if he can continue to play at a high level and continue to come back. And in this secondary, they are poised, to me, to be much better than people anticipated when they lost Jesse Bates and Von Bell. So we will see there. I want to give you my prediction, and I can't wait to do it. But first, I have to tell you about our friends at MyBookie. As a better, you demand perfection, and MyBookie delivers. From NFL to college football and a brand new cash-out system that gives you the options to bet and win all season long. Let's say the first two legs of your parlay hit. You can cash out early and use those funds on another bet, or let it ride for the chance at a bigger payday. Join the MyBookie family for an entire season filled with odds, boosts, free bets, and super contests. This season, MyBookie has a no strings attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quick. With promo code BengalsTalk on a deposit of $50 or more, you can receive up to $200 in cash instantly to your MyBookie account. Again, that's promo code BengalsTalk, and you can receive up to $200 in cash. Don't delay. Go to MyBookie today. Promo code BengalsTalk on a deposit of $50 or more to get up to $200 in cash today. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. This Bengals team knows how important it is to get a win this week. And I think they get a win this week. It's going to be close. It isn't going to be the prettiest game. Joe Burrow isn't going to throw for 5,000 yards, but 525. Let's use a real number that he actually did against the Ravens a few years ago. But I think he looks better. I think he takes care of the ball. has multiple touchdown passes. This offense gets going. This defense does what we've seen them do, which is contain this Ravens offense. They'll give up points. They'll give up their fair share of plays, but the Bengals at the end are going to be on the winning side, 27-20. I'm 0-1 on my predictions this year. Let's see, like the Bengals, if I can get to 1-1. We're going to have you covered throughout this game, throughout the season. So please hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend about Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Ring the bell. Check out Rivertown Inkery as well, because my guy Doug and his team do a tremendous job. And for Andrew Fox-Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapine signing off for now on CBT, Cincinnati Bengals Talk.